Hello and welcome to Playing Cheap, a little series where I attempt to play the cheapest, the most ridiculous, wonderful, mediocre games on Steam, all of which I bought for no more than 39 cents, which means we are about to embark on a very, very intrepid adventure. And if you'd care to join me, then please be prepared because this is gonna get really fucking weird.
TurboBot enable.
So first up on our list is a game called TurboBot Racing. Now this is a sci-fi setting in which you race a robot along a track, and instead of racing on wheels, you're racing in your legs, which means your robot is literally running around the place, looking like some kind of like transformer thingy that got mixed together with something else, and it's honestly kind of cool, very anime, I feel like, and very over the top, and it's pretty interesting. One of the first things that got me about this game was the music, because the moment it starts, you just know you're in for something special, and then suddenly there's just this orchestra of electronic beats, and there's punches, and then there's just this constant grinding of the same thing, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, somebody just orgasms. And that's actually from the game, and it just happens for no reason whatsoever. There's literally no reason it should be there, but it happens, and I don't know why, but that's just brilliant. The description for the game on Steam follows something along the lines of TurboBot Racing is an underground robot race competition sponsored by the big corporations. In the role of an advanced AI, your goal is to drive a powerful robotic system in races that will both challenge your response time and perception of the environment. And honestly, who could ask for more? I'm sold. So you know how in most racing games you kind of need a coherent path to follow in order to win the race? Well, this game just throws that out the window. That's so 2017. This takes it to a whole new level. Instead, we're treated with so many seizure-inducing lights that it would make even the most advanced AI bash its head multiple times into a warning sign. Either that's just me unable to drive this thing, or that something's wrong. So basically the way the game works is that you can take on certain races, and by winning said race you gain fans, otherwise known as reputation. With this reputation you can unlock more races, which become harder and harder over time, just like this man's erection. And the controls for the TurboBot are actually pretty solid, and racing feels fun. Not only do you have to worry about the direction you're going in, but you also have to charge your energy in order to successfully pull off these sharp turns, or technically drifts. And if you don't remember to keep your charge up, you will find yourself spinning off the track and crashing and burning. And it's actually the most interesting mechanic to the game, because it's something that makes you have to think about what you're doing while racing, because in most racing games you're kind of more worried about where you're going, but in this one you have to worry about where you're going, and at the same time as making sure you keep a balance between having your power high enough to make the sharp turns, or you're never going to be able to do it. And it's one of those things where if you don't actually know where you're going, even if that was your only focus in the game, and then you have to try and balance that with actually keeping your power high enough, it's a very interesting process. It's fun. I give it 10 Elon Musks out of 10 for the AI, because Elon Musk thinks AIs will take over the world one day, and maybe he's right, who knows. For the next game on our list, there is one called State of Anarchy, and this is quite a fun little game, which is admittedly pretty good. It's a very basic top-down shooter where you take on horde upon hordes of enemies and different variations of vehicles, and you basically get to use your own weapons. Why can't you speak English no more? And you basically get to use your own set of weapons and your own set of vehicles that also become more and more powerful over time. The enemies also become increasingly more difficult alongside you, and in between running around the outside world you get to perform these bank heists. Inside of said banks you can find bosses that will reward you with a new and powerful weapon. You can also level up by earning cash from your kills dropped by the varying enemies, who will also sometimes provide you with health kits depending on how lucky you are. My only real complaint, if you can even call it that, is that the game does get kind of hectic the more time goes on, to the point where it's literally impossible to survive, and I think that's probably a part of how you play it, so it's not really a problem. It's just like
I kinda suck at video games, so give me a break, huh?
And of course you can draw giant penises with your car on the road, and I mean, let's be honest, if you're paying this kind of money for this kind of game, you want that. You expect it. It's the kind of thing that EA would put into a DLC. It would be the penis drawing DLC. Giant penises. I don't know what I'm talking about. If anything, it reminds me a lot of those times when I'd go into miniclip or Armored games and I'd end up playing random things for hours and hours, which is honestly very nostalgic for me, and I think I have a lot of bias towards this game. And it's very basic, and it's got a very basic formula, but it's one that honestly works, and it's stupidly fun, and essentially it's a poor man's GTA, if anything. It's got an entertaining nostalgic art style with a difficulty pacing that is surprisingly well thought out, and it has a very addictive nature. Plus it's cool that a lot of the sound effects are all done by a person, and they obviously had a lot of fun with it. It's kinda low budget, but in the best kind of way, where it takes it in its stride, and that's what makes it so awesome and gives it so much personality, so this is definitely worth checking out. Now, for the next game, there's quite literally so little I can say for it, because it's so inoffensively adorable, and at the same time it makes you want to just implode completely, because it's cute, and at the same time incredibly frustrating, because you play as this little tiny octopus, and it's got these cool mechanics where the entire map will also rotate with you as you move around, and it makes things kind of really interesting and dizzy at the same time. And I mean, the story's original. I mean, you're an octopus and you get kidnapped by robot aliens. What more could you ask for? I mean, this is Snowball? What does Orson Welles say in the end of that in the beginning of the movie? What? It's like Snowball? Sledge? Snow sledge? Rosebud, I think. Yeah, Rosebud. Yeah. Now that we've got that out of the way, but the game has these really nice fluid mechanics which run alongside the wonderful animations and the bouncy art style, and it's generally speaking a platformer that moves with you, which is a very cool concept in itself, and I haven't really seen it before. And it's very fast paced, it's challenging, and it's so very strange as well, and I just really can't say anything about it. This is it, and what you see is what you get, and it's just a fun little game that is inoffensively adorable and it's frustrating at the same time, and just weird. It's just weird and quirky, and watching this little guy get cut up, I mean, it's just really not nice. I mean, it's not like I'm doing it on purpose or anything. If you like platformers, then by all means go ahead and check this out. I think the moment you see the gameplay, you'll know if you don't want to play it or if you do, so there you go, you're welcome. This next game I honestly don't even really want to talk about, mainly because it's so bad. I mean, the thing is, it's not bad, it's just boring. You basically play as this farmer who is on a okay, look, this is the description for the game. Short story of Farmer Bob. As on a sunny day, at his beloved farm began to arrive alive deads. As on this day, he seriously took up the defense of his territory, rule fucking Britannia, defend the farm, destroy the incoming waves of amusing zombies using dexterity, tactics, and 3 types of weapons. Pistol, rifle, automatic rifle, and show these stinkers who is the master of the house. And basically the way it works is that you have to defend the farm by destroying these incoming waves of amusing zombies, and it's not that it's a bad game, it's just that it is so generically normal. Like, I think all the assets have been taken from Unity, if I'm not mistaken, and they've just been plonked down, and then there's like this weird character in the middle who has a hat that's so big, and I feel like they designed it that way because they didn't want to have to texture the character himself beneath it. You can see a little bit of him, but I get the feeling it was done quickly, and I may be entirely wrong about this, and if I am, then I'm sorry. And I realize that State of Anarchy is basically and essentially the same thing, but it does it so differently, and it does it in such a nice way because it actually has some style to it and its own personality, whereas this one is just like, it's just so mediocre that it's painful. And I don't mean it's like bad, I don't want to insult the people that are behind it, but I really don't like this one at all. Mostly just because it's just so eh. You know when you find something and you don't like it or hate it or love it, you're just like, eh. I did put in the script somewhere that it has all the personality of Kim Kardashian. Why am I doing this bit? I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I wouldn't really recommend this one unless you just enjoy standing in a spot and shooting things as they walk towards you. And it's kind of okay. It's kind of not okay. You can see what it is, and if you like the look of it, then by all means spend that 39 or 99 cents probably now because I got it on sale, obviously. And yeah, it's entirely in your hands now and to do with whatever you want. Okay, now we're going in for the kill. This is Dinosaur Forest, and this game, I don't know how to tell you about it. It's so good, and it's so bad, and it's so bad that it's good, and it makes me want to cry. Okay, so the description for this game: Dinosaur Forest is a fast-paced, chaotic first-person wave-based shooter that pits players equipped with some basic weapons against species currently inhabiting the unknown planet. And it is such a weird game. There was this big story they wanted to put behind it, and basically the way it works is that every environment is just literally all the assets from Unity thrown into it, and it's just put together into this really rough game, and it's cut, and it's so bad, but it's so good at the same time. I can't describe it. So the way it works is that you land on this planet. You're an alien man coming from another planet. You crash land on this planet inhabited by dinosaurs, and then you have to fend yourself off while fighting the dinosaurs. And the game has like a whole list of different options inside of it where you can turn things on, like weather effects and things, and it's really weird that you can do that, and kind of like strange, but they let you. And then you basically start each level and you're given an objective, and that is either to kill dinosaurs or destroy their eggs. And you can do this with a number of different weapons that you can find around the map, from like bows and arrows, swords and shields, to fucking bazookoids and grenades and AK-47s, and then you basically have to run around and just kill dinosaurs. And then there's this whole part where there are little cutscenes, or like not cutscenes, but they're pictures in between each level describing the story that our hero is going through, and it just continues on. Like, he's missing home, he's missing his love, and he should never have listened to this crazy mage or sorceress or witch who sent him to this planet because there was supposedly this big impending doom, and now he's crash landed there, and he has to get back home in order to defend his planet from these aliens that are attacking his own planet. And it's so strange. And then there are just these pictures. There's just like this. It hasn't got any pacing at all. The game has literally no sense of direction. It just constantly puts you into an environment which is either a forest, or it's either this castle in quotation marks with loads of walls, and you know the assets do not match in any level at all. And then there's this weird one where you're in an ocean and you're on this wooden raft type structure where you're running around killing these little raptors that are running towards you, and it is so genuinely mind-boggling. Like, you're playing it and you're wondering, what were they thinking behind this? Where were they going with it? What were they trying to do? What were they trying to say? And it's so strange, but the way it just generally sets you up with like, here's an AK-47, here's a castle, shoot some dinosaurs. Why? Seriously, why? There's actually a guy who does the voiceovers in between every mission, and he actually does it so well. He sounds like a professional voice actor was hired to read the scripts, and even when the scripts have something wrong in terms of like a grammatical error, he reads it like it is, and he just continues like nothing happened, and it's wonderful.
You hear the thunderous pounding coming from nearby. A giant horned beast comes barreling at you from the wilderness. Your heart freezes, your instincts take over.
Let's do this! It doesn't even feel like the same world.
It is just one of those games where you find it and you're playing it and you can't believe what you're experiencing. It's like watching a really bad movie, but it's so bad that it's good, and it's like it's not quite The Room of games. If you know what The Room is, it's a movie by Tommy Wiseau, and it's a cult classic or thing. It's blown up. Yeah, you know when something just balloons up? It's blown up recently in the past few years, but anyway, this Dinosaur Forest is essentially something similar to that, where it's so bad that it's good. You know how there are things in life that make you emotional, that make you physically wrenching in order to try and explain yourself, in order to get across to somebody just how passionate you feel about something? Then there's this. As far as mechanic goes, the gunplay is exactly what you'd expect. It's just right point click and shoot, and the weapons are actually kind of fun to use. The sword is honestly kind of cool, along with the bow and arrow, and the dinosaurs are constantly clipping through the walls, and there's always like something weird happening, and then suddenly there's like, you'd be walking around that deck area and then you hear this clawing at the walls, or you hear like this giant dinosaur moaning in the background, and then suddenly this T-Rex just spawns in front of you. And that legitimately scared me. It so unexpectedly pops out of nowhere, because at least when you're playing a horror game, you have some kind of preparation to know that you're gonna get scared, and then suddenly this thing just shows up, and it's so out of the ordinary. And I'm actually gonna recommend you guys pick this one up, because it's just so genuinely, it's bad. It's really bad, but it's so bad that it's good in my opinion, so you can see what you think.
You remember Freya, the daughter of the father's huntsman, kind and beautiful. You always felt a close kinship with her, but the Grand Armada have braved the coldness of space to destroy your dreams. You hear something.
And as always everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's something very different from what I normally do, but I've been wanting to do something like this for a while now, and my channel has always been a variety channel. I started off doing Battlefield on this. I mean, it's changed over the years and it's going to keep changing, and I will always continue to do Witcher lore videos, because that is honestly something that I cannot stop doing, just because I enjoy it too much to ever even begin to stop. And these videos are just kind of like my way of having a little way to do something that is different, and in order for me to do something and play around with editing something that's different and doing a little, I don't know, you know what this is. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You can either thumb it up or thumb it down, depending on what you think. And yeah, just really thank you so much for watching, and tell me what you think in the comments down below, and if you'd like to see more of this, then by all means let me know. And until the next one, this has been Okayguv Bear. You are going to have a very, very, very wonderful day. Roar.